All right, we are now live.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's now 5 o'clock. This is the June meeting of the Public Library Advisory Board for the City of Salem. I want to welcome everyone. Why don't we go ahead and do a quick roll call, starting with those folks online. Dana,
Dana Castano.
Gretchen,
Gretchen Coppage.
that's everybody online. And going around the room, starting with Valerie.
Valerie Harris.
Matt Jackson. And David Levy. And staff that are here.
Bridget Esqueda, City Librarian.
Rachel Collins, Learning and Development Supervisor.
Mark Weinstein, legal advisor to the lab.
Thanks, welcome. And our guests.
Nancy Layton, representing the Friends of the Salem Public Library.
And our Senate.
Being distracted. Order jobs.
Just right.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, welcome.
That's always
Right.
good.
Why don't we go ahead and get started? You should all have a copy of the May minutes. Are there any comments or feedback?
Yes. So I was hoping that we could add some more detail about what was shared by our guests last month. So Jim and Lois came and shared about the differences in a levy versus a special district for funding the library, and none of those details are captured in the meeting minutes. And I think that's important to call out because for the options, there are very specific reasons why a special option levy was preferred to a special district, being that it was because if we do a special district, the rate would be set, and in the future, there's potentially going to be more libraries, and so it could end up being underfunded. So anyway, I just thought that that should be in the meeting minutes, some more detail on that.
Dana, do you want us just to add, when I would defer to Bridget, just a copy of the presentation from the folks that spoke last month? Just add those to.
Yeah, so I actually didn't get a chance to review the minutes, but just as a reminder that the minutes aren't like a detailed account of what happened in the meeting. So just a general idea of what was said, so then people can then go look into the recording to view the detailed information. So just wanted to share that out.
It could, your detailed report, like the young lady's asking for, can always be included as an addendum to your minutes as well. If I might, I'm the secretary for the Friends, and I've served as secretary as well as president and chairman for a number of nonprofits over the years of all different ilks. And I've seen minutes everywhere from multiple pages where they almost notate everything everybody said to not enough information, so that when you look back to see when was something discussed, did it get voted on at that meeting, or was it, postponed to a future meeting for the vote? I mean, those kinds of things need to be notated in detail. But I'm sorry, what is this young lady saying?
Dana.
What Dana is asking for, having not been here and heard what was discussed, sounds like something that could nicely be included as an addendum to an additional to the minutes, but not part of the official minutes that could be used as an official document somewhere down the line.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think if it could be an addendum, that would be great. Because just looking at it right now, it's vague and there's nothing substantive there. So, I mean, yes, it could be found by watching the recording, but just an addendum, I think would be a happy medium.
Great. Well, would you like to make that as a motion that we just add those to the minutes as an addendum?
Yeah, I motion that we add the presentation shared from Jim and Lois last month into an addendum to May's meeting minutes.
Great, thank you.
Second.
Second, Gretchen seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Oh, sorry, I didn't say I, but I
I hope you did.
I did.
Are there any other changes or additions? Hearing none, let's vote for the minutes as a whole. As amended, all those in favor say aye.
I
Any opposed? Great, the minutes pass, so thank you. Public comment. Anyone here specifically for public comment? Hearing none, we'll go into the information section. Is there anyone here from the TAP?
I am here representing
Oh,
TAB.
okay.
Forgive my tardiness.
Sorry.
I was on a desk until 5 and we're a little short staffed today. So I imagine, so first, I'm Christy Kemper Hodge. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Teen Services Librarian who usually doesn't talk at these meetings. I imagine that TAB is wrapping up with finals, and I know one of our members recently graduated, and I'm sure their brains are just scattered to the sun. So I am happy to represent them this month. So the information that I have to share is we are, after many, many months of lots of preparation, finally getting ready to host our teen murder mystery party. This is the TAB hosted and planned event. It's going to be next Thursday. We're very excited. We have TAB members playing a variety of roles for that. There are 2 that have elected to play live music at the event for the whole time, which is pretty lovely. And or they're playing particular characters or helping like with the food and beverages and all of that. So we're gonna do a run through tomorrow at our meeting, hoping that they make it, because Friday is like the last day of school, and I imagine they all are very crunched. As I mentioned, we had a member who graduated. We have 2 seniors who are graduating this year, in fact. And we have our applications open for the next school year's recruitment for TAB. So I believe I have about 4 openings available. So I'll be identifying TAB members who would like to participate in helping to review and score the applications and then participate on the interview panel. This will be a brand new process for me. So I'm hopeful that some of the TAB members who have done this in the past will join me. But it's very exciting to think that we might get some additional new people. I'm especially hoping we can get some membership from some of the schools that are currently not represented in the school district. Including my own, okay. It's a bit of a haul to get here from there. And then otherwise, we have a couple of other events coming up this summer with summer reading having started. Our TAB will be integral to helping. We're doing a D&D 101 workshop. Myself and a colleague and some of our TAB members will help with that. And then in August, we'll be hosting an upcycling workshop, and at least one of our TAB members is an avid upcycler and has offered to assist. That is what I have for you this evening. Can I answer any questions?
So you have 4 openings, you said, for TAB members?
Yeah,
And how many potential candidates?
that is such a great question. I honestly have no idea, simply because this is my very first time going through this process. I know we got an overwhelming number of people who are interested in our internship. I know that is also a paid position, so that makes a big difference and a slightly shorter time commitment. So yeah, I'm really not sure. It'll be really exciting to see. In a prior life, I was a program coordinator at a hospital, so I've done hundreds of interviews and feel pretty confident that I'll be able to take on that role in Sonia's place this time around.
How many total seats do you have on that board?
That's also a great question. I think we have about 20 or so, or maybe 21. I know at some point, so TABs are like these living, moving organisms, right? And they're
Gelatinous.
Yes. And so they morph and change, and a lot of our team librarians are like, how do you run yours and how do I troubleshoot? So I think Sonia has figured out like kind of the ideal number. You don't want your tab too small, but you also don't want it too big, so that you don't be productive. It's like a book club that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to say it's like 20 or 21 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, good question.
Any other questions for the TAB representative? Oh.
Yeah, I have a question. I was just curious you mentioned hoping to get some of the schools that aren't represented to be represented. I was wondering if there's any kind of criteria that's used when you're picking members, like certain age groups or certain characteristics or qualities, or like geographic location, when you're bringing on new members. And I know this is your first time, so maybe this is something that already exists though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I have had a pretty thorough run through with Sonia about this process because I was like, oh, hey, this is supposed to be happening and I have no idea what I'm doing. So yes, just like with the job application, we go through like a scoring system for each application. However, the scores alone do not necessarily mean that those will be the best fit members for the tab. But I can assure you that there are, if there are demographics that are gaps currently within tab, whether that's we need more middle school age teens, we need more teens who are presenting a particular gender or who are non-binary, if they go to a particular school that is currently unrepresented, if they bring some sort of skill set to us that we do not have currently, those are all definitely given some additional weight when we're considering our candidates.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, great questions.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it.
you, and-
You're welcome to stay, or if you have other priorities in the building.
With it being summer, I would love to stay in here, but with it being summer, we're
No.
trucking right along. So I appreciate your generosity, but my tardiness. Oh, you're Yes, and then just to confirm, this group does not meet again until August, is that correct?
Yeah, I was gonna confirm with the group. I think we're gonna take off the month of July. But I wanna just, I think that's our history.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay,
So we'll take off July.
great, then I will see you hopefully with tab members in tow in August. So hope you have a wonderful summer. Sign up for summer reading.
Thank you.
Grown-ups can do it too.
Thank you. Next is the chair's report. So just a few things. One was gonna talk about our summer schedule. And I'm giving you the punch that we are taking off the month of July, so everybody has an opportunity to enjoy the summer. We'll get back together at our August meeting, which is.
Yeah, it says August 14th.
It is the 14th, okay. So our next meeting will be the 14th. Secondly, I think I forwarded to you through Bridget, a email I'd gotten about the meeting that was last Monday regarding the library's budget. There was a budget amendment that was made to the FY25 budget, which provided some additional resources for the library as well as other departments. Since we had not voted on that, I went as an individual and gave my own personal testimony on that. There was a lot of testimony in favor of the library. The city council did vote in favor of it to fund at this year's level for FY25. So good news is we have funding for the upcoming year, and the positions that had initially been proposed to be cut were saved. So thanks to everyone here for providing their feedback to the city leadership and the mayor's office.
What about the positions that were being left vacant due to expected cuts? Are they gonna fill those?
There was only 3 positions. We're filling one of those. So the new access acquisition supervisor will be filled, new person starting on July 1st. The other 2 will remain vacant at this time. If you looked at the report, there's 3 new vacancies now. That 2 of them we are going to be filling as a limited duration, which means that they're only going to be working until June 30th of next year. But we are hoping to fill those soon. We're going to hire more on-calls for more staff support. And then we have a cataloging librarian position still open, which we're hoping to recruit full-time as career staff.
And did some of the people that were leaving in your report, I mean, you can talk about your report if you want.
Yeah.
Those positions that had initially thought we're gonna have to vacate? Or-
Those were 3 positions that were identified for reduction. 2 of those, that was the reason they left. One of them found a promotional opportunity. So they're working closer to home with more pay and more responsibilities. So they jumped at the opportunity.
I know that's a more specialized position. concerned about being able to recruit for that?
No, really, we currently have a person who's acting in capacity of that role and she's been doing a great job. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the background and the knowledge of what it entails because there's a whole certificate on cataloging and bibliographic records. So we're hoping that maybe we can provide that opportunity internally. But we have to flesh out first what is needed in that role.
What kind of resources are needed just to get somebody certified in that?
An MLIS, a master's in library science and specializing in bibliographic records. Yeah.
And then on
Can we pay for that?
Yeah.
No.
and then on the good news side, I had an opportunity to participate in some interviews for the teen interns. They're coming up, they're in the process of interviewing two, and got to sit in on a number of interviews and was amazed by the quality of the candidates that stepped forward. I don't know what decisions have been made, but very impressed with the candidates. I mean, I think it was open for a month and we had over 60 applicants. Wow. So, or maybe it was 2 weeks, I think. Over 60 applicants. So very impressed with the quality of the applicants that came here, and I'm excited to see whoever they end up hiring. Excited to see the experiences and assistance of the library. So that was nice to see. So, any questions for me?
I just want to say thank you for being at the city council and speaking up. We really appreciate your support and everybody else who's read in or told people. I mean, any advocacy is good advocacy for the library. So thank you very much over there too in virtual land.
And just to add, I mean, there were a lot of people there from all over the community speaking up about the library. And we kind of do this on a monthly basis, don't always see the forest, but there is a lot of interest and a lot of support. So that was very good to see. One last item, and we'll just add this to the agenda, is, as many of you know, we'll have a new mayor starting in January. This would probably be a good opportunity for us to reach out to her. She doesn't take office until the first part of the year, but would at least like to have some conversations and some dialogue with her. So probably through Bridget, we'll be reaching out to the mayor-elect, but setting sometime in the fall to meet with us just to talk about what her priorities are, what her vision is for the library, going forward, not only the fiscal challenges, but just kind of what she'd like to see for the library. So I will definitely keep you posted on that, and we'll go through Bridget for that ask. Great, thank you, everyone. City librarian's report.
Yeah, so before I delve into that, I just wanted to read this. I'm the pseudo secretary, Clarissa's, she goes through. So she wanted me to state this. So the requests for the minutes corrections submitted by Dana were reviewed. At the May meeting, Dana asked for corrections to the March minutes. Her two changes were to make the letter T in the word that lowercase and to delete the duplicate minutes correction reference. Lab approved these two changes for March minutes during the May meeting. After listening to the May minutes, the changes she requested were not in the meeting minutes for March. They were in the April meeting minutes. Since meeting minutes get approved after the meeting has occurred at the subsequent meeting. Additionally, the information she stated was not duplicate. At the March meeting as stated in the April meeting minutes were meeting minutes correction requests for both March and February.
All right, now I'm lost.
After reviewing the recordings for February, March, and April, this modification will not be honored due to the current verbiage being an accurate reflection of what occurred at that meeting. Please help support the library staff by being mindful of the library staff use with correction requests. Prior to the meetings, compare your potential changes against the recordings before requesting changes to the written minutes. This helps ensure the request that will be posted to lab for vote as an accurate reflection of the meeting minutes. So basically, Clarissa spent about 5 to 8 hours going through all the meeting minutes and the corrections and stuff. And just a reminder that any corrections be accurately reflected, so then she doesn't have to go through hours and hours of recordings.
Hey, just wanna say a couple things from the legal perspective. I just wanna sort of reiterate, what staff has mentioned in the past, and, minutes are not designed to be a transcript of the meeting. They really are designed to highlight what occurred and more, and also if there's a formal motion that's been made to encapsulate what that motion was and provide a record of what the vote was and any other actions taken. It does become very burdensome for anybody when they move from minutes that are minutes to them trying to become a transcript. What they're designed to do is if someone looks at the minutes to see, all right, well, what happened at this meeting? What was discussed? If there was an action taken on something, what that action was and what the outcome was it. But it's not to get into the minutia of the substance that it's sort of like a map. And then if there's a desire to go below that, that's why we post an agenda packet. That's why if there's written comments, it's included in the agenda packet or a supplemental agenda packet. It's why we keep our recordings. Our recordings are available, I believe through a link online, or if there are ever requests to say, hey, I've seen the minutes that this was discussed, I want to see more information about that, etc. Things along those lines. And I'd also just say that minor corrections to minutes, Scrivener's errors, grammar errors, punctuation errors that aren't substantive can be made without a formal motion. It can just be corrected as a Scrivener's error. You can just bring up, hey, I just saw that this was misspelled, and it doesn't require a formal motion. It's when we change the substance of minutes that would need to be a formal motion. Any questions about minutes? It's common to have questions about it. I don't want this to be the thing that I'm saying this for. All boards kind of go through some growing pains or whatever about that sweet spot, but I just be mindful that they're truly not designed to be a transcript. They're just designed to be a map outlining what occurred at the meeting and what the results of what actions taken and the results thereof.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Any questions or comments for our legal team? I would just add, I appreciate your comments. I think the balance, as you said, is on the one hand, having minutes that just primarily just give an overview of what the intent was. I think as members of the board, mainly we're advisory to the library, advisory to city staff, but we want to make sure that our intent of what messages and information we want to make sure is provided to the public is accurate. And sometimes there's a conflict in that, and that's why we have legal folks here to help us with that. So we'll be mindful of that, I think, and staff will be mindful as well as kind of making sure our needs are, but we will definitely be more cognizant, Bridget, relay that to staff of kind of what our requests are. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Going back to the report, does anybody have any questions? Some things I'd like to highlight is that, May, we did see a lot of people that we worked with for years, which was really sad. We said goodbye to some of our interns as well who were helping us. But kind of a little bit of ray of sunshine was our staff development day, which Rachel and Sonia were instrumental to plan out that whole day. And we got a lot of positive feedback from staff about how much they appreciated a day to just kind of learn together, get to, collaborate and just be in the same room. It just meant a lot. So that was a little kind of a positive piece to May. A lot of great things that are still happening, projects and programs. The baskets that we implemented are a big hit. Now we're just seeing we're starting to pick up for summer for sure. So we're excited to see what happens this month.
Any questions for Bridget? Great. Well, I'm very excited. We have a representative from Friends here today. So welcome.
I'm very happy to be here. Nicole was hoping she could clear her calendar. She's our president and come, but you're stuck with the secretary instead. I do, however, have notes from Nicole to share with you. She wants you to know that we, the Friends, are working with the Infinity Room downtown to schedule a library fundraiser, probably late July is what it's looking like. They actually approached her with the idea of doing something. And we're not 100% certain what the format will be, how it actually works, where the money actually comes from, if you want to know. But anyway, we're working on that.
If you need a library card, please go to the nearest.
Can you hear me over that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We have coming up on August 17th is going to be our one-day fiction sale. This is an opportunity for us to clear let's just say, an abundance of fiction in our storage. We have storage spaces that we rent on a monthly basis. And I think right now we're up to 4 of them, and I'm not sure. Yeah. Now, I do happen to know that there is some older furniture that came from some aspect of the library somewhere along the lines that was handed off to us for safekeeping. And we've discussed the possibility of having some kind of a estate sale to clear that particular one out, but they're
Furniture, you said?
the furniture, tables and chairs.
Wow.
Yeah, from some renovation somewhere along the line.
So this is surplus city
I guess,
furniture?
I guess.
I think it was probably purchased by the Friends. That's why you guys probably have it again.
So you guys have genders.
I have no idea about the history. I apologize. All I know is that we were told at one meeting that this stuff exists and we would love to stop paying for that rent on that space that we're.
Are we allowed to sell city?
I don't know if it's city
Friends of the
owned
library,
anymore.
I know,
I'm not their legal advisor.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I'm sure. they-
getting rid of city-owned property has a specific procurement process,
and
so.
was that process completed to give it to the Friends is my
I'm assuming it's surplus.
We'd have
So
to go back and research that because right now, nobody sitting on the board really knows for sure.
If you guys have it, that means it was purchased by Friends. That's why they can do whatever they want with it.
Okay,
But if it was city, it wouldn't have come to you.
my guess is that it may have come into our possession somewhere when we had to move out of the previous bookstore location into temporary quarters and furnish that space. I'm thinking that may be what happened, but it may even go back further than that. I don't know. All I know is that's one thing that we have in storage, along with a lot of books.
there may be some tax on furniture, right?
I would hope so. There'd be some, hopefully somebody's still alive that can attest to some part of that. Anyway, we did have an extremely successful spring book sale last month. We had to, oh boy, I'll tell you, we went around the barn and finally ended up at the bush of the days that we could do it. Now, historically, we have had our book sales on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with Sunday being the bad day. And that's what most of our historic customers for these sales think of as Sunday being the bag day. So it threw them particularly for a little bit of a loop when our bag day took place on Saturday because the library is no longer open and available to us on Sunday, okay? So we actually, fortunately, were able to get into the room and get it set up in good time prior to the meeting. We were a little concerned about that as well because of the shortened hours, but it happened beautifully. Once again, the elders and the young people from the LDS Church pitched in with a lot of the heavy lifting in the process of moving the books from storage to the library here to be sold. And then they did a lot of the moving of the books into the tables as well. I can't give you the exact number because I didn't write it down, and Michael was kind enough at our previous meeting, at our main meeting to main meeting to give us a written report, but as I recall, we cleared somewhere in the neighborhood of about $6,000 on the spring sale, which was above the previous year, but it's not a high water mark for us yet. But it's very successful. And I do know, because we asked people, how did you come to know about the sale this year, the spring sale? We asked them that as they were checking out paying for their books. And the vast majority learned about it from being here at the library, seeing the banners, seeing the flyers that we put up, and thanks for allowing us to put them in more places than has happened in the past. And so that's good news. Also just colloquially talking to people as I was hefting books around, filling in empty spaces, a lot of them learned about the book sale and decided to come and support the library as a result of the controversy on the potential change in the library structure. Hate to say the words, I really do. It almost brings tears to my eyes. We are currently in the process of migrating. It's already being done. Our email and website to Gmail, getting it off of a strange provider and Squarespace, rather than doing our sales through Wells Fargo. This will be complete, according to Nicole, by October. Google now has, I think you probably are aware, no cost website and additional services such as multiple emails for nonprofits. And we only recently learned about this, recent being like last year. And the gentleman who had been in charge of our website brought it to our attention and then kind of got his tail feathers in a huff and resigned from the board and didn't follow up on it. So now here we are, and we're making it happen. And I'm going to tell you that not only am I the secretary, I'm also the membership chair. And the process that I have to go through as the membership chair has been onerous. The paper applications come to me sooner or later, and I have to sit down at a computer someplace and put them in. Well, it was on an old what's the Microsoft database?
Access.
Thank you, Swiss cheese. It was on an old Access database that technically worked, but was on an old computer, slower than molasses in January. And I timed it, and one day I sat and put in, coming off of the fall sale where we always get a lot of members. I put in renewals for maybe 12 people, and it took me 2 hours on the old system. So I got the board approval to move it off of that into Microsoft Excel, which is just the easiest place to manage the simple information that we're capturing, and then also manage it, massage it, report it, and all the other things. And so I have done that, and I migrated it over into Excel successfully. It's happy there. I'm happy with it. Now I'm sorting through and getting rid of duplicates and people that I personally know are no longer on this earth. And really, it's gonna clean things up nicely. So, members.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we're running
Okay.
out of time.
The one last thing I do want to say is relating to the budget. It's on our schedule for tomorrow night's meeting. We will be addressing it, and I don't see any reason why it won't get approved at tomorrow night's meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comment. Any questions for finance for the meeting?
Sure.
And let the record show, Sarah has joined us. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, sorry, somehow blanked and thought the meeting was at 5:30.
No worries, glad to have you here. We have a presentation from the foundation. Okay.
Well, I was hoping Sonia would be here and make her do it for me because she's more eloquent than I am. Okay, I am asking the board with the back and support of the Salem Public Library for money. Oregon Battle of the Books is OBOB for short. This year we had 30,000 students across the state participate. They create teams, usually of 4 kids. They read their specific books. Elementary, middle school, there are 16, high school, there are 12. And then they battle on content trivia. It's amazing. It reaches second language learners, which is incredible. I've watched that firsthand this year. There's even a girl that is blind that competed at state. She made it to state thanks to audiobooks and to her parents purchasing Braille books, which is not easy to come by. The school districts are asking for money or grant information, which I came and asked you guys about. And instead of doing that, because we can't, we thought, Sonia and I dreamt up that if the Salem Public Library purchased more copies, it would reach not only Salem, Salem students, but the 18 cooperative libraries that go with that. Sonia and I sat down, each paper book is about $6 a piece. Audiobooks are about $60, which my brain just cannot comprehend. And ebooks are somewhere in the middle. I think she said around 40. I'm asking for 5,000, which is a lot, but we have it. And with that, we would let whoever is in charge of, I can't remember the term she used, but selector, to purchase at least 2 print copies, an additional ebook and an additional audiobook for each of those titles. I don't know, I'm nervous, I hate talking. So I don't know if you have any questions.
Are there any questions on the board? You should see the proposal that we received in front of us, and this does have the support of the library staff.
Yes, I would,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anything to add that you want to add to this?
No, there's a dedicated display, so, and it gets highly utilized. It's usually kind of empty, so these added collection of books, it will definitely get utilized.
I should say that even now, so OBOB State was in April, even now, some of the wait times are 6 months or more. It stops at 6 months, it's just like, it's 6 months plus. And so even now, 2 or 3 months after the kids have stopped reading those same books, they're still just as popular. And if we purchase more books, that means more people will be in the library, right? It's like, this win-win for everybody, is my thought.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the request?
I move that we approve the request.
I'll second.
Gretchen has moved, and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote on that,
Yeah.
okay,
You don't have a financial,
okay.
so yes. Any opposed? Hearing none, looks like it passed. Congratulations.
Thank you. Really excited.
Next on the agenda. Let's see, we already talked about the budget. And I think, I don't know, Sarah, if you heard about it, last Monday, the city assembly, our city council voted the budget amendments, which included some make whole funding for the library for the upcoming year. So thanks for that. That's something that we're going to kind of have to continue to working on. While we're here, I want to just take an opportunity. I'm glad Sarah is here. This is Sarah's last meeting. So want to thank her for her efforts and her support of the Salem Public Library over the last few years. You'll be greatly missed, but I know that you'll be actively involved with the foundation. So Thank you so much for your time and effort. We gratefully appreciate that. As I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, Francine got a better offer. She's gonna ask one for the Shakespeare Festival. So, our good wishes go to her as well. So thank you so much for your time and Sarah, you'll be getting a little surprise in the mail, from us for your efforts. So thank you so much. I don't know if there are any other comments from board members. Want to give them the opportunity as well.
Have fun with the foundation.
I will, I already am. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for including me on this board. I've learned a ton. And to really thank Francine because she's put in many years to the Library Advisory Board. So many thanks to Francine.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you to them as well. And then last on the discussion items is board recruitment. I know that I got a number of people come to me and ask me about opportunities to serve on the LAB, and I've referred them to the website. I don't know if if you've heard any updates in terms of candidates.
I have. I recently reviewed, I think it was about 7 applications.
Wow.
So it worked. Whatever you did worked. So, and I know that we also promoted it via our social media, that there was an opening. So right now they are overseeing 7 applicants. So, 1, 2, I think there's 3 actually. So there might be 3. So yeah, that should be hopefully new members in the next, probably by August. Yeah.
So they would probably go to the city council in July.
Sometime in July, yeah. A lot of great ones too, with great, like some already have prior board experience. Some have, they're joining to support the library more. So there was a really grand array, and I believe I could forward those on so you guys can see those as well.
So you did the initial vetting.
I don't. They give them to me to let me know, and if there's anything that I think they send it to me to see if there's any like red flags, pretty much. Yeah.
Before they go to board. Okay, that's great. Any other discussion items that people have?
I have one quick question. Hope it's a quick question. Can you tell me briefly what's the difference between the LAB and the foundation?
Sure. Actually, can we do that after the meeting?
Sure.
Happy to have that
Certainly.
conversation.
Yeah,
Because there are 3 different groups: there's Friends, Foundation, and Lab.
yeah.
Happy to have that conversation with you. Any other questions from the board? Anybody online?
I do have a couple updates from the foundation.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Hold on, I have quite a few things. Okay. So Kate, the foundation's executive director, sent me a list of updates. So I'm just gonna go through and read them. So the foundation recently sent their annual report to donors, and their fiscal year 24-25 budget was approved at the last board meeting. $120,000 in unrestricted funds is going to library priority enhancements, and additional funding will come from restricted funds. The Salem Reads 2024 reimbursement grant was received from the City of Salem's Cultural Tourism Promotion Advisory Board, that uses the transient occupancy tax which is the room tax, to fund events around Salem, like Salem Reads. So for Salem Reads, it funds advertising and promotion. So that was $9,000 there. Also, the foundation wants to thank Lab for their $5,000 contribution to Salem Reads. It was the 8th year of Lab supporting that, so thank you again. Every year, Salem Reads costs about $42,000 a year, and so the foundation receives about $20,000 in business sponsorships that the foundation board members request. This last year was $9,000 from the transient occupancy tax, $5,000 from Lab, and then the remaining $8,000 the foundation pays. Right now there is a public vote that is out for the Salem Reads book selection. So the Salem Reads book selection committee has put together this list. I think Sarah might be on it. Anyway, the the book is, there's certain criteria that those books meet, which is that they have to be reading ability 14 and up, less than 300 pages, and available in a variety of formats like print, audio, and electronic. Have themes which allow for compelling community conversations and are published in both paperback and Spanish. So they usually buy 1,200 copies and give 750 to the Salem Kaiser School District for classroom book sets, 150 go to the library for circulation, and then 300 for the book giveaway to the public in December. And so the 2025 Salem Reads public book vote closed earlier this week on Monday. And so the final vote is not in yet, but as of last that Kate knew, the book Why Didn't You Tell Me was ahead. So the other choices were, so it's going to be one of these three. Once I Was You, a memoir of love and hate in a Torn America by Maria Hinojos, and then Under a White Sky, The Nature of Future by Elizabeth Colbert, and Why Didn't You Tell Me by Carmen Rita Wong. And then the last thing is that the executive director, Kate, is retiring and recruitment is ongoing. It's going well. There's been phone interviews, and 3 to 4 candidates are going to be moving forward to virtual interviews. And then at the end, there'll be an in-person interview and a candidate chosen. So that should happen before July. And that's everything.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Dana? Dan, I just had a quick question, and you and or Sarah can answer this. So with the expectation that the new executive director will be on board before the current one leaves, or will there be a gap there?
I believe Kate is retiring at the end of June even. But she is going to be staying on in an advisory capacity too. So there will be definitely room for discussion. And she is going to continue with an archiving project that needs to be done with all of the paper files of the foundation. So she's not disappearing. She's not moving to, some foreign land. She will still be in touch with the foundation.
Thank you. That's good to know. Thank you. Any other questions? Great. Any other items from board members? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn? Adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. We are now adjourned. Happy summer, and we'll see you in August.
Thank
Have a
you.
great summer.
Thank you.
Bye.
Everybody.